Hello, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Bethel, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to draft the pattern for this simple princess dart top.
I am so obsessed. I want to chop your.
Okay, so we're going to be cutting out the pattern for this top today, and what we're going to do is I'm going to be using my body measurements. First thing we're going to do, so this is going to be my center front. This is going to be my center front. First thing we're going to do is to mark for where our shoulder is. According to my measurements, my shoulder is going to be 14 inches. So 14 divided by 2 is going to be 7. So I'm going to go ahead and add half an inch to that 7 inches. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to measure my neck width, or my neck, the wideness of my neck. So normally I'm going to use 3 inches, but because I want this to be a very wide neck, I'm going to go ahead and use 5 inches. Instead of using 5 directly, I'm going to go ahead and use 4.75, so that way whenever I sew, it comes back to 5. So the next thing I'm going to do is drop my shoulder. From that 5 inch, I'm going to drop my shoulder by 0.75 again, and straight to 0.75 right here. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the depth of my neck. So normally I'm going to use 3, but I notice sometimes it starts to choke. So instead of using 3, I'm going to use 3.5 inches. So instead of cutting 3.5 direct, I'm going to mark out 3.25. You can use a French curve if you don't have like a hand that's going to draw out a curve that you like. But personally, I trust myself to draw out a curve I like. So if you've noticed, I've already added allowance to the neck. So when I'm cutting this on the fabric, I'm not going to add any allowance to the neck. I'm going to measure my armhole depth. So normally I base my armhole depth on the length of the shoulder. This might vary. I do this depending on the client. So my shoulder was 7 in this case, so my armhole depth is also going to be at 7, starting from that point. So 7 inch right here. So from this top line right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line to match my 7 inch. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my bust measurement. So now my bust measurement is going to be 33. So I'm going to go ahead and divide 33 by 4. 33 divided by 4 is 8.25. I'm not going to add any allowance just yet. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it right here, 8.25. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 15 inches because that's where my true waistline is. Inches. That's where I'm going to take my waist measurement on. So my waist is going to be 26 inches. That's going to be divided by 4 at 6.5 point right here. So the next thing I want to do, so by the way, the length of my thing is 17, and this already measures 17. That's why I didn't bother to tell you guys 17.5. So my thing actually measures 17 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark for my princess dart. So now for my princess dart, I'm going to have to use my nipple to nipple, which is about 7 inches. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to mark out 3.5 right here. Then I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to the bust point. Point is 10. I'm going to measure 10 from this top part. So this is my bust point right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this straight line to match my bust point. Like so. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the midpoint of here to here. So I already know that that's 7. So the midpoint is definitely going to be at 3.5. So go ahead, midpoint here. Now you can use your French curve again, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm just going to go ahead and make a curve like so. So I'm going to take half an inch away from here and half an inch away from here. So half an inch right here and half an inch right here. Like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure my under bust from the top part. So my shoulder to under bust is going to be 12.5. So right here is my shoulder to under bust line. Let me go ahead and actually draw it out so you guys can see that. So that's my under bust line and that's my waistline. From this part now, I'm just going to make a curve like this. That's going to, at half an inch. Forgot to mention that. So half an inch right here. Just like the same thing down. We're going to draw a straight line to connect this under bust line to the waistline. So half an inch here and here. Now I'm going to draw this curve like so to just meet this. You can use your French curve if you want, or you can freehand it if you want. So now like that. So now on this side, I'm also going to do the same thing. Measure half an inch and half an inch. So this is already half an inch. So I'm going to leave it like so. Now I'm also going to draw this curve to match like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure a 1/4 inch here, like so. So now I'm just going to go ahead and connect this. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Now the next thing I'm going to do is for my armhole, I'm going to come in by half an inch right here. You can use your French curve if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and connect this. On my bust measurement, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 inch for allowance. So I'm not really adding anything apart from the bust allowance for my bust measurement. So now for my waist, I'm going to go ahead and remeasure it. My waist was 26 divided by 4. I think I know what that is, but I don't know. 6.5. So if you watched my last video, you're going to know how I do this already. So I'm going to measure from here to here is 3. I'm going to move that 3 all the way to here because this part is actually non-existent. We're going to cut out this part like this. It's going to be cut out. So I'm going to measure from here to here, which is 3. Bring my 3 here, and then from here I'm going to measure to my 6.5 right here. So for my 6.5, then I'm going to add my stitching allowance, which is going to be 1 inch. So that's 7.5. So now from that 7.5 line, just going to go ahead and join this straight down like so. So this is what my front pattern is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So now the next thing I'm going to do, so this, I'm about to cut out my back piece. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw in a 1 inch line. So I'm using this my ruler so I can see. So this is 1 inch right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line like that because that's going to be my zipper allowance. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place this on like so, because I want to know the exact point where my neckline starts from. I can go ahead and measure it again, but this is just easier. So this point is my neckline, this is my armhole, and this is my armhole, you know, depth and line like this. So I can go ahead. So for this one, the way I'm going to trace it is I'm not tracing it like, you know, with this 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and take off that 1/2 inch and just go ahead and do it straight like so. Because that 1/2 inch I only did to make the front have a little bit more fitting. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and also copy this line right here, the slant. Okay, so now that I have that, my back neck depth is only going to be, should I make it this thing deep at the back or no? I didn't even have like a back design in mind. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to make it a high neck at the back too. So it's going to just be 1.5 inch deep like so. So I'm going to go ahead and just connect this. The waist was 6.5, but I'm going to go ahead and instead of 6.5, so now the waist is 6.5. So for this one, I already know that my dart is going to be 1 inch. So 6.5 plus 1, that's going to be, so this is 6.5, that's 7.5. So now it's going to I'm going to add 1 inch allowance for the dart and 1 inch allowance for the joining. So that's going to be here. I already copied my bust allowance, my bust measurement from the front, so there's no need to measure up my bust. But if I was going to measure up my bust, it's going to be the same thing. Divide my bust by 4, add 1 inch for allowance. So now my dart for the back should stop right at my armhole line. I'm just going to go ahead and do this so that way I can see where my armhole line stops. So the next thing I'm going to do is so for this back dart, actually I don't need to cut it out, but I'm still going to go ahead and measure it so you guys can visually see it. So I'm going to measure 3.5 again right here, drawing that 3.5 line up to the up to the way here, all to the top all the way to the top here like so. Or should I do a princess dart at the back too? No, I don't have strength for that. So go ahead and draw this line straight like this. Now next I'm going to do is I'm going to move my ruler like this to make it 1/2 inch here. Then I'm going to connect this to the 1/2 inch mark like so. The same thing for this side. Move this like so to 1/2 inch. So now, like I said, there's not going to be any point cutting this out. Instead, I'm going to fold my fabric and just stitch it like so. But this is what it's looking like for the back. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. So now for the back piece, I'm just going to go ahead and mark a notch right here, so that way I know that that's where my dart starts. So now this indicates that an inch away from here is where my dart should start. Half inch away from there is where my dart should start. So this is my front piece. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my front piece like so. Oh wow, I actually forgot to extend this line all the way to the length of the blouse. Don't forget to do that whenever you're cutting yours at first, because it's not like we're going to stop it. So this half inch line goes all the way to the bottom of the blouse. Okay, just don't forget to do that when you're cutting yours. I believe you're going to watch the video before cutting it and not just like, you know, watch and cut at the same time. I mean, even if you do, it's not like a big miss, because when you get to the cutting you realize, oh, you're missing something. Okay. Okay, so now this leaves us with 2 pieces for the front and 1 piece, 2 pieces for the back too. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fabric and place these patterns on so I can cut them. Thank you so much for watching this video. We're just going to take a pause here, and in my next video I'm going to show you how to join a blouse with a princess dart. If you have any questions so far, go ahead and leave in the comment section or in the Telegram group. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so that way you do not miss when I post the next video. Bye.